In the last stream, we completed every single quest available in the quest book, thus completing the pack. However, since the end of the last stream, Packmaker Ben has updated the pack with 3 new quest lines inside of the final chapter here. We did complete the end questline, but we now have the Technium questline, the Singularities questline, because of course we do, and the Bye Bye 1.20 questline. And so we've got a little bit of work to do here if we want to beat the new ending of the pack. It all begins here in the Technium questline. It says, "Welcome to Techopolis. Welcome to Techopolis, A1, wait, what?" And here we have a couple of quests that work us through the different tiers of Technium. For those of you who haven't played the Seaopolis Modpack, the Seaopolis Modpack is kind of solely focused around progressing through these different tiers of Technium, as well as the Seaopolis 2 Modpack. We've played both of them on the channel, but the basic Technium is made with bronze ingots, smooth stone, clay, coal coke, and lapis. None of that seems too difficult. The advanced Technium, a little bit harder, but nothing we've not done before. We need Invar, we need a bunch of these steam pipes, we need some Constantan gears, some steel gears, and some Constantan ingots, as well, of course, as that basic Technium. From there, we upgrade to the elite Technium. This, again, looks completely fine. Signalum, lead, electrum, amethyst, all stuff we've made before. And then from there, we go to the ultimate Technium, emerald dust, diamond gears, niter, mixed stone ingots, again, all stuff we have made. Hellish is, I believe, the second to last. Here we have netherite, black iron, lumium, soulstone, and that's it. And then finally, last but not least, we have, penultimately, we have the Voided Technium, which is seemingly even easier. This is just air blocks, fire blocks, earth blocks with water blocks, nether stars, obsidian, and the Hellish Technium. And then finally, we have the final Technium. This here is Shellite, Luminescence, Prosperity Ingots, and Neptunium Ingots, which of course we did get from these Neptune's bounty. So all of the ingredients to all of those ingots we have made before, and I do think that we could somewhat easily work our way through making a final Technium. However, before we start on that, I do want to take a quick look at the next 2 quest lines here, because those are going to inform the order in which we do things today, because some of the required tasks are going to take quite a bit of time, and we want to set those up before we start working on things that are going to be fairly easy to do. So the very last quest line here has 2 thanks for playing little tick boxes, and the real quest here is the sign. This is the final item that we need to make. To get the signs sign, we need 1 sign, 4 C-Bucks, and then the tricky bit is 4 ultimate singularities. This is where finally we get a use for the quantum compressor that we made in the last stream, because to make the ultimate singularity for the sign, we need these 6 singularities. Those being the Seaopolis Singularity, the Caveopolis Singularity, the Techopolis Singularity, the Stoneopolis Singularity, the Infernopolis Singularity, and the Desertopolis Singularity. All of these, by the way, packs by Ben Law. Now, each one of these has a slightly different recipe, but they're all made in the quantum compressor. For example, the Caveopolis Singularity here requires stone, any color will work, in the quantum compressor. We need 10,000 stone per singularity. And of course, because we need 4 ultimate singularities, that means that we need 4 of each of these singularities, so we need 40,000 stone to make the Caveopolis Singularity. That actually shouldn't be too difficult. As far as the Desertopolis Singularity is concerned, this requires, thankfully, just 128 of these cactus slices. Again, we need 4 of these, so we are going to need to get 512 cactus slices, but the cactus slice, you get 4 of them from 1 cactus on a cutting board. I think that is going to be completely fine, especially with the Paxel. You whack it in, you let the machine that we set up over here do the work for us. It can do all of the chopping kind of passively, and we can have all of those cactus slices placed into a drawer. We just need to have enough cactus to make that happen. Again, this is a 1 cactus mix, 4 cactus slice. We need 512 cactus slices in total, which means we need 128 cactus. Getting 2 stacks of cactus should be fine. We've got 24 already. All we should have to do is place our cactus into one of these phytogenic insulators. Now, before I forget, in the last stream, we did disable the crafting of diamond essence into diamonds over here. We did that so that we could use the diamond essence for crafting, but without that online, our power is going to go off fairly shortly. So right away here, I'm going to go ahead and turn that back on. But around here, we should be able to hijack one of these in order to get the cactus growing. In fact, I'll put it in here for now because I think we're not going to need that much more inferium today. None of the recipes look like they need a ton of inferium. And in fact, we did make some phytogrow in a previous stream. This didn't work with the inferium seeds, but I have a feeling that it might work here. So real quick, let me go ahead and I guess replace that draw there with one for cactus. And once we've got a new drawdown here, this can now push and pull into the phytogenic insulator. I believe we can put the phytogrow in. That should go ahead and increase the amount of cactus that we get out of here quite substantially. So there's 31 here. I could definitely do with getting my draw key to make sure that random junk like diamonds doesn't end up getting placed into that draw. Of course, at the end of the last stream, we did use our draw key to make other keys, and so we actually don't have a draw key here, which is very unfortunate. We just have the concealment and the quantify key. But either way, I do think that just kind of leaving this should be fine. This is going to continue to produce cactus. We do get multiple cacti per round now. We should get 3 or 4 cactus for every cycle because we've had that 3x primary modifier. It also uses less energy, and there's a 75% use chance, which I believe means that the phytogrow isn't guaranteed to be used, which is pretty good. And you'll see now that we've got more than a stack of cactus, this should just stay as cactus going forward, and we're already the majority of the way towards getting 2 stacks of cacti, which is all that we need to make the Desert Opolis Singularity, and so I'm really not too worried about this one going forward. The Infernopolis Singularity is also not too bad. It does require 5,000 netherrack. For that, we can probably just get some nether seeds. These are made with Prudentium, Prosperity Seed Base, and Nether Agglomeratio. This is netherrack, nether bricks, soul sand, and nether wart, all of which we have. We definitely have 4 of each of these, so we can definitely make those seeds, and then from there, we can very quickly grow and craft the netherrack. It's going to take a little bit of time, but then worst case scenario, we could always go through to the nether with our bedrock pickaxe and just ultimine a ton of netherrack if we ended up in a situation where we were a little bit short on that netherrack. After that, the Stoneopolis Singularity here is probably one of the trickier ones here. This requires a void ingot, 200 void ingots, I should say, per singularity. So we need 800 void ingots in total. Each one of these is made with any ingot underneath a bedrock. The trouble with this one is kind of twofold. The first is that it's only a 10% chance, and that's with a tier 6 mesh. Of course, our strainer upgrades should make it slightly more likely, and it should increase the chances that we get one even if the ingot isn't used. The second trouble is the 1,000 ticks here. It takes about 50 seconds per process, and there's only a 1 in 10 chance, and we need 800 of these. So this is definitely one of those things where we want to get this going sooner rather than later. And so it looks like lead is the ingot that we have the most of right now. We need to place that into our bedrock strainer right here. We need to find our highest tier mesh. I'm actually not at all certain where that mesh is, and it's quite possible that it is in the system or in here or in here, I guess. Boom, boom, and boom, boom. So that is a little faster. That's definitely not 50 seconds, so we are getting the full benefit of the everlasting everything upgrade here. The duration modifier, it's 0.2x, which means instead of being 50 seconds, it is, I think, just 10 seconds per cycle here, which is not too bad. But I guess what we'll do for now is we'll go ahead and we'll throw a hopper down here. I'm going to fill that with lead. I might even go a step further and just grab a chest and kind of fill that with lead as well. We are almost certainly going to break the mesh in there, so we are going to have to come back and check on that. It's only got 269 durability. Again, the modifier does reduce the chance that the mesh loses durability at all. You'll see that it didn't lose any durability there when it finished. So hopefully that's kind of going to start to passively generate some void ingots for us, although I do think it's quite likely that before the end of today's episode, we're going to have to put down multiple more wooden strainers underneath bedrock with potentially multiple more of these everlasting everything upgrades to get us all of the void ingots that we're going to need. But after that, we also have the Techopolis ingot. This one requires 1 final technium per singularity. Looking back here, that means that we need 4 of these final techniums, which means we have to make 4 of every single one of these technium ingots. That should be fine. None of the recipes are particularly difficult. At most, they're kind of just a little bit time-consuming, making a bunch of gears, making a bunch of plates, making sure that we turn a bunch of amethyst dust into amethyst crystals using the crystallizer. That, though, should be mostly fine. Caveopolis, we saw before, this requires stone, 10,000 in total, which means we need 40,000 if we are going to make 4 of them. Again, the resource generator here is going to be our savior. This thing is, of course, super easy to make. It is just blocks of lapis. I'm going to make 8 of these because I think getting somewhere in the region of 4 resource generators is probably going to be good for us. And one thing we've not done really up until now is change the modifier block on top of our resource generator. If you cast your mind all the way back to the start of the playthrough, we did initially have copper up here. That then oxidized, so we swapped it to redstone. But now that we are growing nether star essence, we should be able to very easily go for what I believe is the highest tier modifier block, which is a nether star, which produces 1 resource every 5 ticks, or essentially 4 resources per second. And so at a generation rate of 4 stone per second, we should be able to get to the 10,000 that we're going to need fairly quickly. The only thing we're going to have to do is make a couple more of these drawers, which should be fairly straightforward. Are we out of planks? We are not out of planks. We're just using the wrong kind of planks. Let's try that again, but with the 5,900 pink planks that we have. We are out of bronze, though, I think. That is completely fine. Copper and tin we do have. We'll whack both of those in here. That's going to get us the bronze. And then it's probably going to be in our best interest to make some upgrades for these drawers as well, because by default, of course, each storage drawer can only hold 2,048 items, whereas in an ideal world here, we would have 4 drawers that could, at the very least, hold 10,000 items each, so that they can all hold the required amount of stone for us to actually complete this quest. So let me look at the drawer upgrades. So I think something like the tier 3 gold upgrade here would get us there. The iron upgrade would multiply it by 4, so it would take us from 2,048 up to 8,192. The tier 3 here is going to take us up to 16,396, something like that. And so I do think that we probably want to get 3 of these. That's going to take us over the 10,000 required. For that, we do need to get at least 1 more of these to make at least 1 more of these drawers, at which point that should be everything for the upgrade template, and then that should be everything for, hopefully, 4 of these. Nice. So let's go ahead and see if we can't get this set up. I feel like we might as well place this over in our pre-existing room here. We have space for it. In fact, if we do 1, 2, and 3, 4. We do, of course, already have stone being generated, actually, so that's going to just add to our setup. That's fine, though. We'll go ahead and put all 4 of these down anyway. We'll do this, we will do this, and then we'll also do, of course, this, and we will make sure that 1, 2, 3, and 4, all of those have the gold upgrades. And now back over here, we should be able to just craft up, hopefully, quite a few nether stars. We have enough to make 2 blocks already. Boom. And of course, using our nether star essence here, I'm fairly hopeful that we should be able to make some more. We can't. That is unfortunate. We don't quite have enough nether star essence there. We can use these 2 nether star blocks that we already have. We can put those down here and here, and that's going to increase the rate at which the stone is produced quite rapidly. Prior to the nether star block, there is the beacon, which I think is definitely worth putting up there. We can always come back to this. I think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to take us longer to do a lot of the other crafts that we need to do today than it's going to take us to produce 10,000 stone. So I think doing all the rest of the stuff is going to take us longer. I think we're going to come back later, and those are all going to be basically full, even if we use a beacon instead of a nether star block. For the beacon, I do need some more obsidian, and so real quick, I think what I'm going to do is just head on through to the end here and quickly ultimine one of these pillars. And a quick bit of auto mining later. Boom, boom. And you know what? I'll take a 3rd one as well. We'll go ahead and upgrade all of these. I definitely don't think it's necessary, but we can do this one here. We can do this one here. If we jump and shift, we don't need to do this at all. I completely forget that we have access to creative flight now, so we definitely should just be flying up here as opposed to trying to jump and place them. We can do something like this. We can get rid of this, and we can go ahead and throw down this. Cool. So all of those should be coming in pretty quickly. This one is, of course, completely full. Chet has, however, pointed out that I am, as always, a fool, because you can indeed just buy these storage upgrades from the catalog. You don't have to go through the whole rigmarole of crafting them. And so now we can kind of move on from that, and we just have the Seaopolis one, I believe, left to go. This one here requires, mercifully, just 8 hearts of the sea per singularity. We do need to get 4 of them, so that's 32 hearts of the sea. Right now, we have 2 hearts of the sea, and you'll see that stone is coming in nice and quickly there. You'll love to see it. We're going to be at 40,000 in no time. We do have 2 hearts of the sea, so we need 30 more. How we go about doing that is still kind of up for debate. Up until now, we've been using the structure compass to find hidden treasure. We could do that 30 more times, just go and try and find 30 more chests that have hearts of the sea in them. Alternatively, we could look at getting the prismarine seeds, the squid seeds, and the fish seeds so that we can craft together the nautilus shell and then the hearts of the sea after the fact. Either way, I don't think that's going to be too difficult for us. I think the difficult ones are going to be the Techopolis Singularity, just because we have to make 4 final technium, the Stoneopolis Singularity, because we need all these void ingots, and that's kind of it. I think those are the only ones that are going to be particularly difficult for us, because I think the rest of them are fairly straightforward. If we go and look over here, I think the cactus is almost certainly done. Yeah, we've got over 6 stacks of cactus, plus some more in there. How are we doing on void ingots? We've got 3 void ingots. That is kind of horrendous. How many emeralds do we have is my next question. We've got 2 emeralds, and we don't have any emerald dust. If we wanted to make emerald seeds, which I do think is going to be well worth the investment here, we just need 4 emeralds, which means we need 2 more emerald dust. That should be doable. All of our diamonds, of course, are hiding out over in our lapidary boilers, so let me take those out. And as far as essence is concerned, we don't have any prudentium, but we can, of course, make it using our non-existent inferium crystals. I was really hoping we'd have one of these left. Alas, we do not. That is fine. We can definitely make a prosperity gemstone. We can use that to make an inferium gemstone, and we can use that to make another one of these inferium crystals, at which point we could do something like this, and we can get ourselves 2 more emeralds, which should be everything we need. Let me take those, let me whack those in over here. And whilst I wait for those to get turned into regular emeralds so we can make the emerald seeds, I'm going to go ahead and quickly craft up 4 supremium. And not too long later, we now have the 2 remaining emeralds good to go. We also have 4 supremium and, of course, our prosperity seed bases as well. Whilst we were waiting for that to come through, I did go ahead and make 2 more phytogenic insulators. I've set up the drawers beneath those and configured them so they should just work as soon as we drop in our... Whoops, that's not right at all. What are we missing? We're missing the last supremium, Isaac. There we go. As soon as we drop in our emerald seeds, we're also, of course, going to make the nether seeds as well here. For that, we do need this nether agglomeration, and I do not know, I should check ahead of time, that we have enough nether wart. We do. Perfect. And we have enough of everything as well, which is fantastic. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4 with 1, 2, 3, 4 and the prosperity seed base. And that, hopefully, is going to be emeralds taken care of in terms of making more of these meshes, although I am a bit of a fool. We do still need the emeralds going forward. There are a few recipes in the technium questline that do need the emeralds. However, I do think that it's probably actually in our best interest to use netherite essence to make netherite, and then use that netherite to make meshes going forward, as opposed to using emeralds. Again, not that it's not necessary. We do need both of them either way. Let's do you. Let's do you. In fact, let's quickly do this, and we'll also do this as well. As I mentioned earlier, I don't think we need as much of the inferium going forward, so I'm hopeful that we can instead do something like this. And if we do need a lot of essence, we can, of course, kind of worst case scenario, go and fight the wither a few more times, like we did previously, to get a bunch of supremium, and then we can use that supremium to hopefully get us however many inferium or prudentium or tertium it is that we need. So hopefully this is good. We're good on cactus, so we can take that out, and I will put that into here for now. We can always move those around later if we need to. And yeah, that looks good. Let me do something like this, and let's also do something like this. Cool. So those should all be connected up, and that should kind of be the Infernopolis setup taken care of. We just have to wait until we have 20,000 netherrack's worth of essence. 20,000 divided by 24 multiplied by 8. We need 6,666 netherite essence is what we need in total here. That does mean that, again, it is probably going to be in our best interest to make an upgrade. Of course, we don't have to make the upgrade. We could go buy it, and you know what? Let's do it. Let's go buy it. I'll keep those in there because those are useful for making things like the draw key, which I did just remake so that we can thankfully lock our drawers again. Back over here, let's do this, and let's say this. Cool. We do still have 139 C-Bucks, and so I'm not really too worried about running out of those. And let's just do one of these to hopefully keep that coming in nice and quickly. We need 6,000. That might take a little while, but again, we can go and do some mining if needs be. So now what do we want to work on? Caveopolis is done. I'm not too worried about it. Techopolis I will work on once we've got other stuff set up. Techopolis is going to be a lot of hands-on microcrafting, and so I kind of want to get all of the other systems that are going to take a lot of time, but are kind of passive. I want to get those set up first. So my next concern, I think, really is the void ingot. We do need, as I mentioned before, at least 800 of those, and we're at 15. So I think what I am going to have to do here is, first of all, make a few more of the meshes. That is the easiest part of the equation and not at all difficult. And we might even be able to set that to export. This here is not doing anything. If we do this, that's going to start exporting the netherite mesh. And hopefully, once this is done, it will then just export any netherite mesh from the system round into that. It totally does. Good. On top of that, I think it's probably going to be in our best interest to get another strainer, get another everlasting everything upgrade, which is a bit of a pain to make, mostly just in terms of the microcrafting required and the amount of resource generators that we need. But in terms of actual resources, it's not really that difficult. We should have everything it takes to make it. And so I think what I'm going to do, chat, I am going to quickly check if we have enough bedrock. We have 3 bedrock, and so I'm probably going to go ahead and make 3 more strainers, or maybe even like reuse some of these strainers. Like we could maybe move the nether mulch from here for now, repurpose these strainers, put some more bedrock down, and quickly make 3 more everlasting everything upgrades so that we can hopefully make this way faster. All right, so I ended up just doing 2 more of the bedrock and everlasting everything upgrades. Both of these are now chugging away, and so hopefully, slowly but surely, we can work towards getting the 800 void ingots required for that stone opolis singularity. Our infernopolis singularity is on the way. Our desertopolis singularity is kind of good to go. We need to process the cactus. The caveopolis singularity is coming together very nicely. Over here, we're already at 30,000 stone, so that one is not a problem at all. And then the Heart of the Sea is probably the last one we're going to do. We're either going to go and try and find them, or we're going to craft them. But we can now focus in on the last difficult one I think that's left to do. That is the Techopolis singularity. And again here, I do think there's some work that needs to be set up because we've got a couple of tricky ones. The early ones here are not too bad. Making 4 of this, fine. Making 4 of this, fine. We're going to need a lot of rubber, but that's okay, I think. And then making 4 of this looks fine. A lot of amethyst, but again, not a problem. Here's where things get a little dicey. Emerald dusts are fine. We'll probably end up pulverizing emeralds that we get with our emerald seeds. And the diamond gears are fine. The nice is fine if a little bit of time in the crystallizer. The mixed stone ingots, though, are going to be a bit of a pain. We're going to need quite a few more of those, so we should get yet more raw mixed stone and make sure that is being processed over here, ideally with a netherite mesh. And it's also probably going to be in our best interest to make 1, if not 2 more of those everlasting everything upgrades, which actually were not anywhere near as bad as I thought they would be. If we get 2 more of those, we can definitely go ahead and increase the speed at which this works, and also increase the likelihood that our mixed stone doesn't get used. We should definitely do that because we do need to get this recipe 4 times over for all of the mixed stone. Then going forward, we have this hellish technium, which is actually even worse for mixed stone because it requires so much black iron, and all of the black iron requires all of the mixed stone, as well as some black dye here as well. And so we definitely should look at getting a lot more mixed stone, much faster than we're currently getting it. Maybe even look at adding this 3rd strainer with mixed stone, or to get even more of it from the raw mixed stone that we have. And we can also get even more raw mixed stone by downcrafting mixed stone ingots that we have as well, which is probably worth it. We've got 131 of these here, so we can downcraft this. That allows us to craft 2 raw mixed stone. Each raw mixed stone does, in theory, only get you 1 mixed stone ingot, but of course, we have the upgrades in that allow us to use this multiple times over, so we should indeed kind of gain mixed stone by doing it that way, and we're going to need to do that a lot to get all the black iron required. And then finally, the very last craft here requires this shellite, and the shellite, as we saw in the last episode, requires these shulker shells. The Twitch chat has told me that it's easier and cheaper to make shellite dust and then smelt it than to make the ingot in the induction smelter. That's because here, it's 2 shulker shells to every 1 shellite ingot, whereas if you make the dust, you get 2 dust at a time, and it only takes 3 shulker shells. So that's 1.5 shulker shells instead of 2 per shellite ingot. And so we're going to need a lot of shulker shells. As we saw before, for that we need endstone bricks and crying obsidian. The endstone bricks are basically free. We can go and mine a ton of endstone in the end and craft it up. That's fine. The crying obsidian, a little bit trickier. This is done in the strainer with the obsidian and the dragon's head. Again, obsidian, completely fine. We could even grow it if we wanted to, or we could go and get it from the end as well. Both are doable, but if we're going to make this final ingot 4 times, that means that we need 32 shellite. That's how many you need for 1 ingot, and we need that 4 times. So we need 128 of the shellite ingots. If we multiply 128 by 1.5, we need 192 shulker shells. 192 shulker shells multiplied by 5 means that we need 960 crying obsidian. So we need to get quite a lot of obsidian. That is 15 stacks. So 15 stacks of obsidian run through the strainer with the dragon head above it. That, of course, being this guy right here. I did go ahead and pick it up. And so what we'll probably do is maybe take this down, like we'll take the dirty mulch out, we'll go ahead and pick up the strainer tank, which I thought was going to pick up the liquid, but that is foolish of me because that is not how that works. That's fine though. We can grab one of our myriad buckets and do a quick one of these, and so we can quickly get the dragon head down there. I guess I'm going to go ahead and craft up maybe 3 or 4 more of the everlasting everything upgrades. It really wasn't too bad. I made a bunch more buckets to make it kind of more feasible, because if we quickly fill up, say, 16 buckets, you can then very, very quickly craft all of the resource generators that you need. The only thing that could potentially stop us here is if we don't have enough lapis. Thankfully, I think we do. Even making 64 of them here, we can then use that to make these. And again, with the pull missing items from player inventory craft ticked, that means that we can just shift click and that will make 17 of those right away. And then we can just re-grab the buckets out of the system and we can do the exact same thing again. That is kind of the hardest part about crafting the everlasting everything upgrades taken care of. All the rest of it really isn't too bad. And so I'm going to go ahead and again craft up even more everlasting everything upgrades. Chat has pointed out that we should indeed be using our inventory hoppers to export the lead to these strainers. So if we do this, this, and this, that's going to keep these full of lead, and it's going to kind of get rid of the need for these hoppers here. And after doing some quick back of the napkin math, I actually don't think that we're going to have to replace these meshes again. I think the 2000 durability on each netherite mesh should be enough to get us all of the void ingots that we're going to need. And so, yeah, I'm going to make some more everlasting everything upgrades. I'm going to get all of these online. I'm going to head through to the end again. I'm going to mine potentially 15 stacks of obsidian, bring that back. I'm going to get a ton of end stone as well, bring that back, get the obsidian exported over here with the everything upgrade so that hopefully that crying obsidian can start getting produced. And then over here, of course, we're going to start processing more mixed stone ingots, and then we can come back and look at making the basic technium and working our way up from there. Given how much obsidian we need to mine in the end, I do think that it is going to be worth it here for us to try and get efficiency 5, the book, and apply it to our bedrock pickaxe just to make it way faster than it currently is. If I put this in, that is not giving me efficiency 5. It's giving me efficiency 3 at most. Let me take this back out. If we press U on here, it does show that I think 80 redstone, and then I believe 192 on a 320, but this should be 320, so it should just be a case of putting in, let's do exactly 80 here, and then let's put all the essence in, and then let's put the redstone in, and then let's make sure that we do it in the right order. I don't know if putting this in first is going to do anything, but we can give it a go. Then we'll put in U, and we'll put in U. That is efficiency 4. There's 5. Nice, okay, that did work. It was a little finicky. It looks like the experience has to go in first, I guess. Either way, over here, boom, and boom. Cool, so hopefully now, if we go back to the end, we should be able to mine these, hopefully, a fair bit faster. Yeah, that's way faster than it was previously, and it's going to make getting 15 stacks of obsidian way quicker than it was before as well. There is crying obsidian here. We could grab some of this, but I think in general, it's going to be quicker and easier to just kind of set it and forget it with the obsidian and let that work in the background, as opposed to trying to grab the little extra bits of crying obsidian that are available here. And 15 stacks of obsidian later, I think we're now good to go. So we're going to export that over here to our strainer. I did make 2 everlasting everything upgrades, not 4. The reason for that is that it turns out that the strainer is probably not our best course of action when it comes to getting the mixed stone. Let me quickly dump all of this obsidian away into our system, because it turns out that the fact that we can turn the mixed stone ingots into raw mixed stone by doing this and then doing this, we can then take that raw mixed stone and just smelt it back into ingots. And with our faster obsidian furnace, that's pretty good, because here we take, of course, 1 raw mixed stone, smelt that, that gets us 1 ingot, that 1 ingot then gets us enough nuggets to make 2 mixed stone, which of course is going to get us 2 more ingots, and then from there we can take those 2 ingots, we can then craft those into even more nuggets, and that gets us even more raw mixed stone, which we can then smelt even further. And of course there are a few things we can do here to actually make this furnace even faster. First of all, the obsidian furnace is not the fastest furnace. There is a netherite furnace after this, which is even faster. I'm going to quickly whack this in here so it can repair whilst I work on the other stuff. Over here, the netherite furnace is just the obsidian furnace with 4 netherite, 1 soul sand, and 3 magma creams, all of which we have if we do this and this. And then there are actually upgrades that we can put into this furnace to make it even faster. So if we want to make it faster, the first thing we can do is go to @iron furnaces. We can make the speed augment. This here is, as the name suggests, just going to make the machine faster. It says halves the cook time, uses up twice the amount of fuel. I think that is a worthwhile trade-off. And so already this here is 4 times faster than the obsidian furnace. With this, it now doubles that speed again. By the way, top right-hand corner here for augments, and then whack that in. You can put in 1 augment of each color. There is red, blue, and green. And so now if we whack this in with some coal, this is very, very, very fast. But we can still take this yet further. If we get ourselves the factory augment, this converts the furnace into a factory. It does require a piston. That's going to be doable for us. And then boom, very easy to make. And if we put this in here, that increases the number of slots massively. It does now require power. And I think in here we have to go to configuration and we have to set the top to input and maybe turn auto input on. Although it's quite possible that I might just need to break and replace this flux duct for that to work. There we go, perfect. So now if we put these in, we can even turn on auto split. That's going to divide them and it's going to smelt them so fast, which is fantastic. And so I'm hopeful here that it really should not be difficult at all for us to get all of the mixed stone that we're going to need, because whilst this does use a staggering amount of power, it is also blisteringly fast at producing the mixed stone. And so really, no matter how much we need for the technium, I don't think we're going to have to worry about it. And after doing some number crunching over here, I do think that just the 1 strainer with crying obsidian is going to be enough to get us all the crying obsidian that we are going to need. We've already got 100. We needed about 900 in total. So that's going to take a little bit of time, maybe half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. But I think that is completely fine. And so real quick, let me go get the end stone that we need because we don't have that just yet. And then once I have that, we can then start looking at actually making some of these technium ingots. And 3 stacks of end stone brick later, and we're actually done with the end stone brick. That is indeed all that we need to get 192 of the shulker shells. And so now we can look at making the 4 basic technium and then working up from there. The 4 basic technium looks super easy. Let me bookmark all of the techniums here so I don't have to keep going into the quest book and cycling through all of the recipes. So smooth stone we do not have. However, we do have 45,000 stone, and of course, we did just get an insanely fast furnace, and so getting a lot of smooth stone is going to be fine. We also do get experience for that as well, which is fantastic. Bronze, we do not have. However, we did put some in here earlier, so we're actually good to go on that front as well. Lapis, we've got. Clay, we might have. We do. Lapis, we've just taken out. That's fine. And then finally, we just need some coke. The coke we actually don't have. That was made in the pyrolyzer, which we did set up. We have 12. We need 8 per technium, so 32 in total. Right now, the reason this has stopped is due to the fact that the pyrolyzer is full on creosote. And so we could either do with a tank or maybe just a fluid trash can, because I don't think we actually need that creosote for anything. I think we can put this down directly underneath the pyrolyzer. Make sure the bottom here is set to output, turn auto output on. That should just delete the creosote. It does indeed. Fantastic. Let me once again get this back in the repairer because we're down to just 53 durability, and I would rather not lose that efficiency 5. That would be pretty bad. Over here, how are we doing? We got 1,000 out of the 4,000 nether essence that we're going to need. That's pretty good. One thing we can probably do here to get the 32 coal coke faster is just use our time in a bottle. I've been holding off on using the time in a bottle up until now, simply due to the fact that we didn't really have that much time left after the last episode, but we have managed to gain an hour and a half worth of time here. And so if we do a little bit of tapping, we should be able to get up to 32 cook fairly quickly, at which point we can begin crafting up that basic technium. More clay is needed. Thankfully, that's just water essence and dirt essence, both of which we have in fairly large quantities. So getting more of these clay blocks is not a problem. And I think that is us good to go. Let me take out that extra cook and let's do this. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to make the 5th one. We could do, but at the same time, I don't want to waste any resources unnecessarily here and then have that come back to bite me in the future. So now that the basic one is done, we are out of storage space over here, which is kind of to be expected, given that we have such a staggering amount of pink logs. We probably should have set up a system over here to stop this crafting pink planks when we have enough. Like, we don't have a level limiter here that stops it crafting pink logs into pink planks, which we definitely should have done. At the time that we set it up, we were desperate for planks, like we were using them for fuel and we had none, so it didn't really seem like a sensible solution, but we should definitely have done that. We do have a drawer over here though, and so what we can do is we can just whack our wallet in here, buy the highest tier upgrade, put that into here, and then we can just look at taking some of the pink logs out of the chests they're currently in and kind of moving them over into this drawer. That should hopefully give us enough space to keep things chugging along as we look at making the advanced technium. So here is where things don't really get much more difficult, but they do get a little bit more tedious. So for this, I'm just going to have to get a bunch of invar. We need, I think this was 32, so I think we need like 2 stacks of invar. Easy enough. We've got the iron, we've got the nickel. Just have to run it all through the induction smelter. Then steel gears. Steel was iron and coal coke in the induction smelter. So again, more of the coke from the pyrolyzer with some iron until we get enough steel to make however many gears this is 4 times. Same with the constantan for here and here. The only tricky part is the steam pipes. We need to get a lot of steam pipes. I think 96 in total is the number we need. So we need 96 hardened glass. That's actually fine. And then we need 192 of the cured rubber here. So we're going to have to get quite a lot of either dandelions or vines and process those. We got 76 dandelions here. That's really not that many, but of course, much like with the cactus, we can use the phytogrow and a very fast phytogenic insulator to make it very, very quickly. Speaking of which, over here, this guy is kind of no longer needed here. Let me go ahead and move this storage drawer. And what we'll do is we'll swap it out for a new storage drawer that we put dandelions in. So I definitely do want that. Thank you. And in fact, I'm just going to put this here for now, so it's still connected to the system. And in fact, we can now lock this as well, because we do, of course, have that newly minted drawer key. This one, not this one. And then in terms of storage drawers, I think we should be able to make another crate. We do have bronze now, which is good. Hence why I wanted to not spend it all earlier. Boom and boom. Let's do another quick one of these with some concrete. And then hopefully, if we maybe temporarily steal one of these, we can put that into here with this and this. And then if we do craft up some more phytogrow, which I think is very doable, it is. We're just missing sand of all things. Thankfully, sand is very easily done with dirt and fire essence. We can then do this. Again, I do want the niter in dust form. Perfect. Boom. And I'll even get 2 stacks here. I think we can then just whack that in like this, and that should massively increase the speed at which we get these dandelions, because we get so many more per cycle. You'll see we went straight from 12 to 17, 17 up to 22. And of course, if we really wanted to, we could do something like this as well. Do have to be careful of the power situation, which of course is as fickle as always. I really thought we had more power coming out here, which unfortunately we don't. That's fine though. These are going to slowly but surely come in. And of course we can use those to produce quite a bit of latex. And so I'm going to go ahead, make even more invar, make even more constantan, make even more steel, turn them all into gears, and then also craft up some more hardened glass to get all the steam pipes. And then we'll look at the next one. This one also, I'll probably just do like these back to back, because electrum is also just a bunch of gold and silver in the induction smelter. Lead plates is just lead inside of the multi-servo press. This one right here, we'll whack that in like so. That's easy enough. Amethyst, do we have any amethyst? We do not. For that, we need to put the niter under the purified water. That is actually fine. We've got a ton of niter. Does it need to be the crystal niter? I think it does, right? Yeah, that is unfortunate, but again, thankfully, we do have a spare everlasting everything upgrade, and so I think we can just do this and this. And we're going to swap out that iron mesh for a netherite mesh because we do still have quite a bit of netherite and it is still coming in fairly quickly. And this is also going to increase the output chance of the amethyst dust as well. I think quite significantly. Yeah, we go from 10% to 40% going from the tier 3 to the tier 6 mesh, which is perfect. And so we'll just run those, of course, through the crystallizer to get however many amethyst shards we need for this. Signalum, easy enough. We just process the tin, the copper, and the redstone. Electrum, easy enough. Just turn it into gears and ingots. And then that seems kind of fine. After that, the ultimate technium ingots. Again, we just need to get a ton of diamond gears. Take our diamonds, turn them into gear form. Emerald dust-wise, we should have emerald essence. We do, in fact, we filled up on it. So let me do this and this. That is 2 stacks of emeralds. I actually don't know how much we need in total here. We need 5, 10, 15, 24. 24 multiplied by 4 is, of course, 96, which we have, right? We got 130 there. So we just need to pulverize these over in here to get the emerald dust. That's going to be fine. The niter, of course, we just run through the crystallizer. So I might look at making some upgrades to this as well, but we can get more niter if we need it. And of course, the mixed stone, as you saw earlier, is just going to be us running the mixed stone through and crafting it over and over and over again. And then hellish is probably where we'll come back. So I'm probably going to try and get basically all of the stuff to make the advanced, the elite, and the ultimate. It's all stuff we made before. It's just a case of doing it in bulk. I might look at making some more resonant integral components and some more flux linkage amplifiers to try and make everything here just that little bit quicker. But yeah, let's go do a lot of processing. All right, so quite a bit of processing later, and we're getting close. So I've just finished crafting all the rubber, and we can now begin to smelt this very rapidly over in our netherite furnace, assuming we have enough power, which we do. Fantastic. And I think over in here, we should have enough hardened glass. We've made all that as well to make a stack and a half of steam pipes. Nice. Over here, I believe we have basically everything else that we need, and so we should be able to make 4 advanced technium. Nice. We can knock that off the list. Next up here, we also should have basically everything we need here as well. Amethyst shards are coming in. Signalum I have made. What else do we need? We need lead plates, which we've got. Those are right here. We also need electrum gears, which I've made, and electrum ingots, which we also have. So I think we're good to make a few of these, if not all 4 just yet. I think it's just the amethyst shards that we're waiting on for that. And then for the one afterwards here, we're also not looking too bad. I think we have all of the emerald dust. I think 96 was the amount that we needed. The niter, I've been told we need 2 stacks of. We've got 82, so we do need to run some more niter dust through our crystallizer. Of course, once it is done doing what it's currently doing, let me quickly swap out this resonant integral component here to make that just a little bit quicker. And yeah, we've also got 38 out of the 48 required diamond gears. We're kind of waiting for more diamonds to come in here. One small oddity, I guess, is that the diamond gear is made in the multi-servo press, but it doesn't require the gear working die. If you put the gear working die in fact, it just doesn't work. Very odd. But that is 43, so we just need 5 more of those. That hopefully shouldn't take too long with our phytogenic insulator here working overtime. And so now, once we have the amethyst, we can make the elite technium. Then as soon as we process some more niter, we should be basically good to go on the ultimate technium. I might have to process some more mixed stone, but I think we actually already have enough for that. Then it's on to hellish. For hellish, netherite should be fine. We've been growing that passively. Lumium should also be fine. This is just a case of combining the glowstone, the tin, and the silver, all of which we have, and then turning that into plates, also fine. Soulstone, completely fine. We've got all of the solium dust for that. That's not going to be a problem. The biggest problem here is just black iron. Again, mixed stone, we're going to have to process a ton, but that's okay. Ink sacs are going to be a little tricky. I don't know if the dye seeds are worth getting for us here, but we are going to have to get a lot of ink sacs. Again, that should be fine though, because as we saw in the last stream, we can in fact use ink sacs on the spawner to get more ink sacs. And so I think, much like with all of our previous summoning block endeavors, we're just going to have to turbo use the summoning block to summon, 30, 40, 50 squid, kill them all at once, get a ton of ink sacs, hopefully more ink sacs than we used to get the squid to spawn, and then kind of repeat that over and over again until we have just a staggering number of ink sacs so that we can use those to make all of the black iron required. As for the voided technium, I think this is going to be completely fine. I think we have enough air, fire, earth, and water blocks to make this happen. We have excess obsidian. In fact, we can even go ahead and stop the export of obsidian over here now, shift right click, because we already have enough crying obsidian. We got 1,130 out of the 90 that we need, so that is fine. Nether stars, the seeds are coming in, even if we don't have enough nether star essence to make the nether stars though, which we might not. We have got enough here to make 8, which is not the 16 that we need. However, we can, of course, go and decraft the nether star blocks that we made earlier because we already have all of the stone, way more stone, in fact, than we were going to need. And so this should be fine. And then it's just a case of crafting all that shellite for the final craft, as well as some more luminescence, which should be fine. All of this looks like it's actually going to be all right. There's our first ink sac. Fantastic. Let's get that over here. Let's make sure that we have our looting sword on us, which in this case is our supremium sword. And for the ink sac, we need water beneath there. That's actually completely fine. We can craft water buckets using water essence a little bit quicker than picking it up manually, but not massively. Let's do this, and then let's do this and this. Nice. And look at that, 6. Fantastic. That's way better than what we had before. And thankfully, the supremium sword is so powerful that these guys die instantaneously, which is real nice. I did see, did we have a sweeping edge book in our system? We do indeed have Sweeping Edge 3, which it might not be a bad idea. Can I add that to my sword, or can I only have 1 enchantment on my sword at a given time? Never mind, I can totally add that to Looty here, which is probably, I hope, going to make it a little bit better at dealing with all of these guys at once. Look at that. That is just a staggering number of ink sacs to acquire all at the same time. Just turbo right click, and then 1 swing of the Looting 3 sword gets us really as many ink sacs as we're ever going to need for however much black dye we're going to need going forward. That is fantastic. Back over here, amethyst is done. Boom, there's our elite technium. Fantastic. What are we missing here? So the niter we have, let's take that out. Again, more niter is coming in round here, so we're still waiting on that. That's not a problem. Do we have a little bit more diamond in here to hopefully push us over the edge? I think we do. Let's do this. That's going to get us 44, 45, 46, 47. We're so close to having the 48 required. Let me unbookmark the previous tier. Mixed stone, I have just been working on. We're processing that over in here. We've got way more of it as well, which is good. And yeah, that's coming in quite nicely. So we just need like 2 more diamonds to get the diamond gears. We already have the emerald dust, and it's mostly just a case of, I think, waiting for the niter, which is being processed over here. And of course, we can give that a slight tap, especially because we gave this one the stabilized RF coil, which allows it to transfer RF in faster. And there we go. There's 4 ultimate technium ingots. We can uncheck that off the list. And now let's get a lot of black iron. All right, so we're almost there with the hellish technium here. We've made a ton of black iron. We've made some lumium and turned it into plates. We crafted the soul stone. This was just a shift click, and we had all the stuff for it. Right now, it's actually netherite that is our limiting factor. We've used so much of it today that we're kind of out. So we're waiting for that to come in. It is coming in fairly quickly here, and we do get 1 at a time there. You'll see the essence does come in somewhat fast. While we wait for that, though, we can look ahead here. So the voided technium should be fine. We need 16 of each block per color, so 64 total, basically a stack of each color. That's fine. Obsidian we have, nether stars we have, and or we can get back from our previous nether star blocks. And then finally we got the final technium. So I'm going to start working on the final technium stuff whilst we wait for the netherite to come in here. So as we saw before, the shellite is a little pricey, but now should be very doable because we have the shulker shells. We have a ton of apatite dust. We just need a ton of bronze blend because we're going to make it in dust form. We can take the bronze and pulverize it. Speaking of bronze, we can probably get more copper and more tin and run that through our induction smelter to get even more bronze blend so that we can make a ton of that shellite. We also need a bunch of luminescence, which is made with glowstone, redstone, and gunpowder. Redstone, we've got loads. Glowstone, we've got loads. Gunpowder, we don't have any. However, we can craft the gunpowder using nether quartz, lapis, flint, and charcoal. It does, unfortunately, specifically have to be charcoal. Thankfully, I do believe that we can make some charcoal over in here very quickly. We can indeed. And thankfully, just like with the squid, we can indeed take the gunpowder and use it over here to spawn creepers. We just need stone beneath the summoning block. We have almost 75,000 stone now, so that is not going to be a problem. And so long as we stay far enough away here to where we don't trigger these guys, it should still be a single hit kill, and we should be able to very quickly and easily get enough gunpowder for all the crafts. And once we've got 3 stacks of gunpowder, or more than 3 stacks of gunpowder, I believe that should be enough to make all of the luminescence that we're going to need for the final technium. We do need a bunch of prosperity ingots, which are iron ingots plus prosperity shards. I have put some apatite back into here to keep that going. Over here, we should probably get even more apatite cooking in the crystallizer, because I think we're going to need even more prosperity than we're going to get from the little bit of apatite that's already in there. And then, yeah, at that point, it's just the shellite. So let me take the bronze blend out of there. Let me pulverize more bronze down. Let's also see if we can't start producing the shellite dust. We do need to make these, of course, which again now I think we should be able to make. We'll turn all of those into shulker shells, and then we'll turn a ton of those into shellite dust. We do need 96 shellite dust, I believe, in total. That's fine. The pulverizer is on its way there. It's working through stuff slowly but surely. The upgrades are in here, but that's fine. And then, of course, over here, we need to smelt those into shellite ingots. Perfect. And so doing that a few more times should get us all the shellite we need. The Neptunium is just a case of making more of these Neptune's bounty, which should be fine. It is just even more of the cyan colored planks, the green colored planks, and then the dragon steel is the tricky bit here. So we're gonna have to calculate how many of these we need and then make enough dragon steel. We do also, looking at the singularities here, need to make another ultimate catalyst in order to make the singularities. Thankfully, this isn't used up, and so we can use the 1 ultimate catalyst to make all of our singularities, but it does mean that we need to make 4 more ultimate components, which means we need 4 more draconic integral components, 4 more black iron slates, and 4 more dragon eggs. Everything there should be pretty straightforward. 4 more black iron slates is just more black iron, which we might be able to make, and if we can't, we can always do the same thing again here and take the mixed stone, craft it down, craft it up, and then smelt it. We can do some more duplication on that to get more mixed stone until we have enough black iron. The dragon egg is by far the easiest part of this equation here because we have so much dragon egg essence at this point. There's 21 dragon eggs, that's not a problem. And then, of course, the draconic integral component should be fine. Again, the same stuff that we did before. How are we doing on netherite? We are at 39 there. How many does that get us? That gets us 3 of the 4. That's getting us close. We do need a little bit more, though. We need 24, I think, in total to do the 1 more hellish technium craft, at which point we should be basically good to go straight up and craft 4 voided technium, and then almost good to go in terms of crafting more final technium. So I'm going to go and make, I guess, a couple more of those Neptune bounties, however many we need for final technium, and then we'll see if we have enough netherite to power through. Chat has also pointed out that you can craft the bounty with 8 Neptunium ingots. It seems like a bit of a gamble because apparently you don't always get 8 back, but let's take a bit of a gamble here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We did get 8 back plus some nuggets, so we got a slight, very, very slight bonus there to our output. Plus we got some nuggets here, which I guess can craft us up again. I do wonder what the odds are on this because we do need to get 32 Neptune ingots in total here. So if I do this again, I think we're not likely to continue to get enough. Yeah, that one's real bad. Okay, so I'm not going to bother with that going forward. I guess we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way and make it with this recipe because doing it the way we just did, we just lost quite a bit of Neptunium. All right, so finally, a little bit of netherite later. I did, in fact, go ahead and take offline the experience seed, and I've doubled up on netherite here, so we're going to get twice as fast. But we've now got 4 hellish technium. We managed to get the remaining netherite for that craft. And now we have the 4 stacks of the different blocks. Here we've got the obsidian, which is good. We just need all of the nether stars for the voided technium. And so I've just crafted up all of our nether star seeds. We have got 12 nether stars. Not quite enough. We need 16 in total. And so I am going to have to take this almost fully repaired bedrock pickaxe and quickly steal one of these from right at the start of the stream. That's going to get us 9 more, which is more than enough. And so now we should be able to craft up almost straight away here 4 voided technium. We can. Nice. And so now we're on to the final technium. We have enough luminescence. I have crafted all of the gunpowder, redstone, and glowstone down. We've also got the 2 stacks of shellite as well. I crafted down all of those, as we can unbookmark that as well now. Also unbookmark this. We now just need the prosperity ingots, which we should be able to get. We've got 400 prosperity shards, and I've been told I need 64 of these, so I think it's just this. Perfect. And so now it's just the Neptunium. I have some Neptunium. We have got 16 here, which is enough to make 2, I believe, of these final technium. If we want to get more, though, we just have to continue doing more of the chest crafting. The reason I've not done that just yet is that we were using the netherite to make other stuff, but now I believe we can kind of focus back in on using our dragon steel to make more Neptunium. I've already made a few of these. If you get anything else that's not a Neptunium ingot, for example, you get like a pickaxe or a shovel or an axe, you can blast these into an ingot. So I just whacked those into our blast furnace wall over there, and that got us a couple of extra ingots. But yeah, I'm going to go and get hopefully 16 more Neptunium ingots so we can make 2 more final technium, at which point we will have enough final technium to make the 4 Techopolis singularities, and then we can kind of finally start to look at putting these singularities together. And finally, 2 more final technium ingots gets us all of the 4 that we need. Perfect. So the Heart of the Sea, still going to be the last one. The 40,000 stone, we have. The 4 final technium, we have. The 800 void ingots, we have. The 5,000 netherite, I don't think we have. The 512 cactus, we have. And so let's have a look how much nether rack we can make. Not netherite. We have got what it takes to make quite a bit. I don't think quite enough, though. I think we calculated that we might need like 4,000 essence, but we will see. And again, we can always go mine some more if we need it. Let me get the quantum compressor. Let's throw this guy down. The quantum compressor here does require a lot of power to make the singularity. 5,000 redstone flux per tick for a total of 500,000 redstone flux. Thankfully, this does hold 10 million. And so that is actually completely fine. It means we can kind of buffer up the power on here. So one thing we can do, I believe, is we can take our netherite furnace, so we can kind of use this as a way of generating power. If we put this down, let's say right about here, we might need a flux duct, but we might also not. We can go back to iron furnaces and we can craft up the generator augment. This needs a redstone repeater, easy enough, and then 2 pieces of paper, also easy enough, and that's going to convert our furnace into a generator. So it will no longer smelt items if we do this, but it will make power. I think we can also still put the speed upgrade in there to make even more power, and now we can smelt different things as well. For example, the nether star in here does get us 1,000,000 RF, so we can, I believe, just whack that in. Although that does not seem to be working, although it looks like it should. Maybe we need the blasting augment in there, although I really thought that would just work. If I take that out, no, that still doesn't work. Interesting. Let me try setting the left side here to output, which is what we want. I'm also going to set this to auto output on, so hopefully that ejects power. And then if I put like coal in here, I think this is going to produce a decent amount of power. Yeah, so we got 32,000 RF from that piece of coal. Chat is telling me that I do need the blasting augment to make this work. Again, that should be fine. We have sugarcane, and a blast furnace is super easy. So let's try this, and this. That does indeed work, and that's going to get us 1,000,000 redstone flux. It does only come in at 1,000 RF per tick, so 20,000 per second, but 1,000,000 is more than we need for each singularity. We need 500,000. So it can do 2 singularities basically per nether star. I do believe that we can also use netherite as well, though, in place of nether stars. The netherite here gives you 750, so it's almost as good. It's 3/4 of the way there. And of course, we can do something like that to massively increase the speed at which that power comes in. And as soon as we have stuff in there, we can kind of make this work. The only thing we have to do now, of course, is take our dragon steel gears here, which I have painstakingly remade again, because now we need to make 4 more of these draconic integral components to make 4 more of these ultimate components here. So I am going to be pretty lazy about this. And by that, I mean I'm going to steal my pre-existing resonant integral components. And if we have 4 of those, which I think we do, I'm going to try not to take the one out of the nether generator there. Instead, I will take one out of here. And I guess I am taking the one out of the nether generator over here as well. And then back, over at our crafting table, I can hopefully craft this up. We do need netherite dust. I need, I think, 16 netherite dust in total to make 4 of these. So let me quickly pulverize that and also give that a quick time in a bottle accelerate. Let's do this and let's do this. So we made the dragon eggs earlier. We could take those. The black iron slates I have made. They're in my inventory. And so that's not what I want to do. I want to do you, and you. Perfect. We only need the 4 of those. Do I have 1 more black iron? I do not. However, we do have enough mixed stone to make 1 more black iron, which means as soon as those are done, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and boom. Cool. Then gets us another ultimate catalyst, which can go into here in the left-hand slot. Now, if we put 4 technium in, we can hopefully just produce 4 Seaopolis singularities. Let me clear my inventory out a little bit. We got a lot of junk in here that we don't need to be carrying around with us at this moment in time. And yeah, that's good to go. Cool. So next up, let's take the void stone. Again, ideally about 800 of the void stone. And we can begin loading this up into here. And that's going to be the void stone. Done. We can uncheck the stone opolis singularity. As far as the stone, the cave opolis singularity is concerned, we could probably do with getting some kind of item pipe to move the stone in, because putting it in manually is going to take a while. 40,000 stone is a lot of stone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is going to be all we need there. Perfect. Actually, I don't even need the 8. We've made 5 of these by accident, which is not my intention, but that's completely fine. I also probably should get rid of these warp pipes at this point in time because they're causing me more hassle than they're saving me. Cactus. Let's take the cactus. We've got more than 512, and I don't even think we needed that. I think we needed 128, if memory serves me correctly. So I think 2 stacks was actually all we needed. We now need to cut that specifically with a pexel. The pexel that we use, I don't think matters. So I think that we can probably get away with using just an inferium pexel. That does mean we're going to need quite a few prosperity shards. It also means we're going to have to steal some of our diamonds. I'm assuming we've got a ton of them in here. We do. Nice. So let's do this. Let's make a bunch of these. Then let's also go ahead and make a bunch of these, the prosperity ingots as well. Once we've got those, we can hopefully turn those directly into inferium. I think we need 8 in total, and then the same's true here as well. I'd assume we need 8 of these as well, and then from there, I'm hopeful that we can make one of these. Oh, of course, we first have to make a diamond axe, a diamond pickaxe, and a diamond shovel. Cool. From there, we should be able to upgrade all of those to the inferium shovel, the inferium pickaxe, and the inferium axe, at which point we should then get the inferium pexel. And so now, hopefully, over here, if we put this on and we right-click it, that's going to make the cactus slice. So if I put this in here, and I put this here, this is not very fast. This is doing its job. If I do this, that does totally work a bit faster. And I do this, maybe? Yeah, and then we can just kind of pick these up, I guess. Chat is right here that it is probably faster to just right-click quickly yourself than to accelerate the clock and the hopper. This really doesn't take all that long. Nice. And we definitely didn't need any higher tier pexel. The inferior pexel was more than good enough. Let's see how we're doing on netherite here, because we could do with some more netherite in here, which of course we could also do with using our time in a bottle on, like so, to hopefully get that juiced up a little bit. Once there is enough in there, 2 stacks does get us our first singularity. The power is coming in thankfully faster than we're using it, so we can kind of just continue to put all of these in. And now it's not coming in fast enough, but that's kind of fine, I think. That's number 2. Good. Once we're over 500,000, we can put in number 3. And it looks like we might have misjudged it a little bit. We might need a tiny bit more cactus slice. Not a ton more, just a little bit more. If we do this and this. Oh, of course, they're in here. That's why. It's in the chest. We did process some of them. We just didn't take it out. That's fine. Boom and boom. Perfect. All right, that is number 4. And that's the Desert Opolis Singularity taken care of. Let me see. We're probably going to want to make another storage drawer to hold all of the netherrack that we're going to make. What I will do temporarily is I'm going to grab my item pipe. I'm going to put that down here. I'm going to go and grab the storage drawers over here that contain the stone. So you have got 16, 16, 16, 16, 16. Okay, so we need like 3 of these drawers, and we just need to kind of one by one suck all of the stone out of those drawers and pump it into the quantum compressor. So over here, we can whack this down. We're going to need a decently fast pipe upgrade to be able to pull out that fast. So tier 1, easy enough. Tier 2 is also easy enough. Tier 3 is surprisingly easy enough. And then with the netherite, I think tier 4 is actually also easy enough. Let me take 4 netherite out of here and do something like this. This should now be able to extract, I think, 64 items per tick, which means if we get our pipe wrench out, we can set this to extract, we can put this, shift right click in here, and yep, you'll see 64 items per tick getting extracted. That is pretty fast, and thankfully it does work through 10,000 stone surprisingly quickly, and yeah, that's going to go ahead and make us our singularity. And then we just swap this out with our different drawers, and as soon as this drawer is empty, I'm going to repurpose this drawer into our netherrack drawer. So let me pick this up. Let's put you down. Let's put this down. I don't know which one's which now. Not that one. This one here is going to go down over here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab some nether essence. Do something like this. Whack this in over here. Make sure that's locked to netherrack. And then, of course, we'll go ahead and pick this guy up because this is going to be needed over here because I'm assuming that fairly shortly this will run out. Oh, of course, whenever you break the block, you do have to reconfigure the pipe and the pipe upgrade there. That is completely fine. Power is holding up just nicely. We've still got a bunch of netherite. You'll have to see it. This is going to empty out pretty soon, and we're going to be good to go on that. While that does its thing, over here, let me do this, and we're just going to craft down all of our netherrack and then just send it all straight back into the system. I'll put all the singularities away for now. We can come back to that in the future. And we're kind of seeing how much netherrack we have and how much we're going to need, because we need 20,000, and I'm not quite sure that we're going to have that much. I don't even think we're going to have enough to fill up the 16,000 buffer of the drawer. It looks like we might not even get halfway there. It looks like we're going to hit around 7,000 maybe netherrack in total. Yeah, just shy of 8,000. So we need 12,000 more netherrack. And so I guess we're off for a bit of a trip through to the nether. Thankfully, our Paxel here has a pretty high durability and is also very fast with efficiency 5, especially for mining something like the, especially for mining something like netherrack. That's going to come through very, very quickly. Let me do this and this. Over here, this is done. Fantastic. You can click eject, by the way, to take out any excess items in there. So we'll get rid of you. We'll untick that. So now it's just Infernopolis and Seaopolis. So I can begin the Infernopolis bit. We can take this drawer, of course, and go put it down in the exact same place as the stone drawer that we were just using. So we'll get rid of you. We'll put down, I think it was this one. It was indeed. Make sure this is set to extract with the pipe upgrade. Fantastic. That's going to begin making us our first 1.5 of these. And it is going to get us a quest complete, which is good. And it also means I think we can make our first ultimate singularity as well. The ultimate singularity is just, of course, all... Oh, no, we can't, of course, because we do need to get 4 Seaopolis singularities as well. Okay, fine. So I guess let me go see if I can't get enough netherrack. I guess what I'll probably do is take this with me. That way I can put it down, and whenever I fill my inventory, instead of having to come back, I can just put the drawer down, fill it up with netherrack, pick it back up, and keep going. All right, and finally, there is our third additional singularity. And so I'm pretty sure that now, yes, we have 4 of the Infernopolis singularities. We just need to get 4 Seaopolis singularities. And I do think that, once again, the structure compass is probably the best way to go here, simply due to the fact that, unlike the last time we did this, we now have creative flight. And so if we go out here, we can now fly across the surface of the water much, much faster than we could last time. And so we are after... I'll wait till it cools down here. We got to shift right click, and we are looking for buried treasure. Select. I'll fly out a little bit here because we've probably found all the buried treasure that's pretty close by, but we should, hopefully, be able to use this to find, ideally, 30 more Hearts of the Sea. All right, chat. We've done it. It didn't take too long. You get quite a few Hearts of the Sea for every one of the buried treasures that you find. We have got 33 out of the 32 that we need, and so now, finally, we're going to eject the netherrack and dump it back in here. We'll also go ahead and, of course, break this so that we don't immediately place it back into there. So let me take all of this out, and as soon as that's out, we can put in our Hearts of the Sea, and one by one, so long as we have enough fuel to make it happen, you know what, we'll throw another star in there, because why not? We'll do this. That is hopefully going to be good, though. That's 2. We've not quite got enough power for all 4, but if I do a quick one of these, I think that we are pretty much good to go here. There is our 4th and final Seaopolis Singularity. Flipping it. Good. And so now, if we take all of those singularities out of the system and head back around to our ultimate crafting table, we should be able to craft 4 ultimate singularities. The crafting recipe, of course, does not work. Why would it? That would be too easy. Okay, so we did have to cheat them in because for whatever reason the crafting recipe there is not working, but we did have all the items for it. And so now we're on to buy 1.20. We need to make the sign for that. We just need some C-Bucks, which we can get out of here. Perfect. We also need, of course, our ultimate singularities, which we have, and 1 singular oak sign, which might be harder than we expect because we don't have any oak. So we're going to have to get non-oak logs and then run those through our sprayer with the spray remover. This guy right here, the beta spray can remover. So if I do this and this, hopefully that's going to give us regular oak logs back. It is indeed. We don't need that many of them to get an oak sign. Boom and boom. And I think, hopefully, if this recipe works, that should give us the sign. It totally does work. We did it. GG. Thanks for playing. I really hope you enjoyed this mod pack, and if you got this far, GG, thanks for being here through 1.20.1. I hope you enjoyed playing through the mod packs. I hope you're ready for what's coming next. See you soon. TM, Ben, Law, and that, I believe, is actually the end of Seaopolis Submerged. The pack does now have an official ending. We've completed every single quest in the pack for the 2nd time, but now I believe that no further quests are going to be added, at least not ones that materially change the course of the mod pack. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the series and you haven't done so already, please do go ahead and hit subscribe to get notified as soon as new videos go out. I'll be back very shortly with a brand new series. You can also leave a comment, leave a like, all that kind of good stuff. It does mean a whole heck of a lot. And you can join the Gaming on Caffeine Discord as well. The link is in the description, or you can go to discord.gg/GOC. That's open to everybody. Anyone can join that Discord. For now, though, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.